are joined today by so many of our past Daughters of Greatness honorees. I'm going to ask you all to stand, and I am going to mention you all by name, but I want everyone to be able to see you. If you don't mind, please, if you'd all stand up, our Daughters of Greatness who are in the room. I'm going to move around the room here. Sadiqa Reynolds, Teresa Rita Weber, Marta Miranda, Deputy Mayor Barbara Sexton Smith, and of course, Mrs. Ami Ali. Where am I? And Dr. Renee Campbell. Is Miss Patty Jones here too? Oh, okay. Thought she was on. It is also Marta Miranda's last event in Louisville before she leaves us to go to the beach. Marta has been just a true mermaid time. Marta has been an incredible blessing to the Ollie Center over the last year, taking us through just a process of change and growth. We are eternally grateful to you, so thank you so much. We're also joined today by our 2021, one of our 2021 Muhammad Ali Humanitarian Award winners, Christian Stephen. Christian, say hello to everybody. Christian is joining us with his colleague Greg Stewart to do a new incredible project with the Ollie Center. You should get to know him. He's an incredible human being, so say hi to Christian afterward and to Greg too. One other quick announcement I wanted to make. You all are getting a little special preview to an upcoming program that we have not announced to the public yet, so you are the first people to find out. We are starting a new series here at the Muhammad Ali Center called Unapologetic. It's people who are unapologetically changing the world, like Muhammad Ali. And our first honoree will be Dr. Yusuf Salam. He's one of the exonerated 5 and councilman for New York City. We are thrilled to welcome him here on Friday, May 10th. It'll be an evening program. He will give remarks, and we will also have a conversation with Dr. Nat Irvin from the University of Louisville. Again, you are the first people in the city to find out about that. Our members, you're going to be getting a special email from our membership team and Teresa today, and we look forward to seeing you all back here on May 10th. Last but not least, Alan. It's a bittersweet day for us here at the Ollie Center. I think as many of you know, today is Marilyn Jackson's last day as our president and CEO. Oh yeah, I'm going to make it through. I'm going to make it through. It has been my honor to serve under Marilyn for the last 2 years. She is the leader that I strive to be a quarter of that same leader in my life. She brought us back to life here at the Ollie Center, and she is going to be incredibly missed by our entire team. So I'm going to give her a few moments to come on up and say hello to all of you. Come on up.
So I had a little farewell yesterday with the team and some of our closest supporters. It was an incredibly moving evening, and I thank the whole team for putting that on for me. I also really thank the city for embracing me and embracing the Muhammad Ali Center and the potential of what it can be and what it is, what it means to not only the people in Louisville, but what Muhammad and his life and his legacy has meant to so many people, millions and millions of people around the world. And it has been nothing but an honor and a privilege to do this work, to figure out how we mobilize Muhammad's legacy to advance a more just and compassionate world. And that's about the work that we do here. And this is one of my favorite programs. How many have I been to? I don't know. This is like...
Everyone for the last 2 years.
Yeah, so maybe this is 14th one or 15th one. They're always outstanding. The stories that are told here are incredible. When I came, I was like, this is the event in Louisville, in my opinion, and it's always a packed room because the folks that come up here and talk have incredible stories and have had incredible impact in their communities, and it's just a joy to commune with people like this. So as I say, I think it's my last paid day at the Muhammad Ali Center. I have a feeling I'm going to be in conversation and doing work and taking calls and being a really active volunteer in many, many ways. So thank you for your support, and thank you for supporting me, and it's been a really wonderful journey. Thank you.
Okay. Well, it is a tradition, if we can, at Daughters, to have the person who introduces our new daughter be a surprise. Do you know who it is? Woohoo! All right, I was afraid. Don't be afraid. Please welcome to the podium your friend, Lanita Davis.
Only professional stories.
Good morning, everyone. For disclosure, I'm very nervous. I've never done anything like this before, but for that, I'll do anything. So it's truly an honor to be standing here before you all this morning to introduce my friend, Yvette. Yvette and I have been knowing each other since middle school, around 12 years of age, and she's very dear to my heart. So many of you know Yvette Gentry, the ex-police chief or the executive director of the Rajon Rondo Foundation, or in her current role as the director of resident and community safety. But I want to introduce you all to my friend, Yvette. So she wears many, many hats. She's a wife, she's a mother, she's a cousin, a niece, a sister, a daughter. All those things are very important. The list goes on and on. So as much as you all see her do in the community, she does so much more for her family that you all wouldn't even imagine. Over the years, I've watched her, and she's made me become a better person, a better woman overall. We all know of the 6 principles that Muhammad Ali talked about greatness, and what I want to do is tell you all why I feel that Yvette fits all those principles. Spiritual. She's a Christian. In everything that she does, God comes first. Anything. She's given. She gives of herself effortlessly to anyone, especially her family. Dedication, which again goes back to her titles as a wife to Lee, a mother to her boys, a cousin to Tiara, a niece to Bay. She's just dedicated to make them all better people. Conviction, she's going to tell you what's on her mind. And if you don't like it, oh well, but you will know. Confidence. She instills this in her boys. They know that there's no such thing as being weak. They have to stand strong in whatever it is that they do. And to see her interact with them, you all would think what she does in the community is minute. Respect. She demands it. No matter who you are, even if you don't like what she's saying, you're going to respect what she's saying. She once said, I was made for this shit. I don't know if you... That is a living example of inspiration, strength, and greatness. And I'm so honored to call her my best friend. She's my shero. She's our modern day Wonder Woman, Yvette Gentry.
could have gave my pick to somebody else if they had called. Thank you, Lanita. Lanita, like she said, we've been friends since we was 12, running around in Park Hill. I couldn't be more prouder of her. Her mother was 12 or 13 when she had Lanita. All the odds been stacked against her, right? She grew up in the projects. She just got her PhD. Be careful who you count out. Be careful who you count out. So that's one of the things I got to say today. So I'm incredibly grateful for this opportunity to stand before you today as an honoree of the Daughter of Greatness. I saw all the women who are previous Daughters of Greatness stand up, and I'm honored to be among you. So thank you so much. I have so many people to thank. I believe that you don't have any wins. You can't win anything by yourself. You can lose by yourself, but nobody ever won anything by themselves. And so I thank you to everybody who helped me, everybody who pushed me. And I got to say this, my big sister, stand up, my big sister's here. My big sister beat me here. My big sister, I was worried about her being late to her funeral. She beat me here. I'm like, Lord, it's a day today when my big sister beats me someplace. But I love her. She just got the best heart. She's such a gentle person. So I love you, girl. My kids are here, my sons. And, you know, it's funny because I think my friends worry about me having an open microphone, which they probably should. So come Wednesday, I'm not a person that writes speeches. I make a little points, I scratch some stuff out, I try to figure out if I want to choose violence or peace every day. That's a choice every day I have to make. So come Wednesday, my husband said, he calls me Gizza. Gizza, don't be making people cry. Okay, we ain't nobody getting up at 8 o'clock in the morning to make people cry, so keep it upbeat. I'm like, okay. Then Sadiqa texted me. She said, tell him about, I don't know why she loves this story so much, but she loves this story. Tell him about when you locked up the guy and then you went back and took a fan to his mama because the house was hot. She loves that story. But I believe our criminal justice system would be better when we lock up people we're afraid of, not who we mad at. Right, you know? Our jail is full of people who are just poor and can't get out. Our justice system will never work until it's not about class. It's about locking up people we're afraid of. It's full of people who are poor in there for nonviolent crimes, and yet we got 160 people being murdered in our city. When we get that right, we'll fix it. But we have a history of locking up people we mad at. So I think that's why she likes that story, because I would lock up kids. I remember I locked up this guy who had 4 kids 2 days before school started, and I went and bought all the kids the backpacks after I took them to jail because they ain't had no school paper and they didn't have any of that stuff. So, Kenton Buckner, one of my good friends, he laughs about that. He was like, remember you locked somebody up but you dropped off his kids at the barbershop and made me go pay for it? I was like, yeah, his kids shouldn't be walking around here with their hair looking bad because their dad's a convicted felon. So anyway, it's not their fault. So I have to give some credit to my dear husband over here. And the other person that called me, so Sadiqa calls me. Then my boss, Lisa Dishinger, who I called, she's stand up, Lisa D. Lisa D is the biggest thug in the city. Y'all just don't know. I love working for LDG because they fight the good fight, right? They fight the good fight. So I love working for her. But she was on the elevator on Wednesday, and she said, I saw something in the elevator, you were getting honored, and you didn't even tell us. And I said, I don't call people and ask people to come see me speak. You know, I don't do that. She said, well, you better not be boring. And then the last person was Nicole. She said, well, you're just a truth teller. You're just a truth teller. So I can't promise any of y'all anything, but I can promise you, Nicole, I will stand here and tell the truth. Okay? So about my husband, it's funny, I was trying to think of a way to really describe him, and I thought about my son, Devin. Devin was a standout football player. And in 2020, right before the world shut down to COVID, he had his pro day. And he killed his pro day. He did, I always tell my kids, do what you can control. And that's how hard you work. He worked his whole life. He'd been playing big boy football since he was too young to play it. But he went and he did all the races and the jumps, and he killed it. And then it came time to the interviews, and it was 6 interviews. And this is 2020, y'all. So he said, he called me after the interview. He said, "Mom, I'm screwed." I'm like, "Why?" He said, "I'll never get to the NFL." He said, "You know how you watch the draft and they say, well, his mama was on crack," and they love that terrible story, right? And they didn't know their daddy. So he said, "I had to go in the room and tell them my mom's a cop and my dad's a deacon." He said, they kept asking me, "Do you know your dad? What about your dad?" And he was like, "Well, he takes me to practice every day, and he was my little league coach, and he's a deacon, and he cooks for me, and he helps me with my homework." And he's like, "I'm screwed." And I said, "Okay." You know, I'm always like, let's get a plan. I said, "Okay, I'm going to send him the pick pack, and then you can tell him he just left my mama." Because we don't lie, we tell the truth, but I was trying to set it up. But, you know, then 2 days later, the world shut down, and his opportunity shut down. And so, you know, you never know what people go through. And I think it just says, you know, sometimes we think about young people and we talk at them and we don't know what they go through. But most of our trauma, most of the stuff that we carry, the heavy stuff, is stuff that happened to us when we were young. So listen to young people. They carry a burden. Watch how you handle them. Watch how you handle them. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about a few things. But Marilyn, I'm so glad you were here. But I'm so glad you're going where somebody asked you to come and they're going to celebrate you.
Yeah.
Sometimes ain't nothing like going where people just want you and they celebrate you. So you know, that's the gift. So your mark is here. It'll always be here. It shouldn't be hard for people to raise money for the Ali Center. This Ali was on record for being the person who raised more money for charities than anybody in this world. Shame on us if they don't have money flowing through here. Fundraising for the Ali Center should be the easiest thing you ever do. So please write a check on your way out. So, you like that? You like that, Alan? Okay. So I'm just going to talk real quick about a few things. You know, when the Daughters of Greatness, they ask you to kind of connect your life to Ali's core principles. And, you know, none of us can compare to Ali. He was the greatest. There's no debate, right? But we all can aspire to think about his principles and how they really can impact our life if we let it. So the first thing is confidence that really resonated with me. And I'm not going to tell you about how I regained my confidence. I'm going to tell you how I lost it. And I'm going to back it up with a T.I. quote. T.I. said, "If you live for the applause, you'll die by the booze." Anybody remember that? That's what T.I. said. Well, there was a time in my life where I lived for the applause. See, I was Officer of the Year. Yay, she's Officer of the Year. I received the Law Enforcement Commendation Medal, a national award as a detective. I don't think anybody in our state maybe even ever had it before, for my community service. I received the Exceptional Community Policing Award as a sergeant. So I had been celebrated. But in 2006, I had just had twins. Me and my husband went from 2 kids to 4 kids. We really had to think about that debate over, does it make sense for us both to work when we got 4 kids, we're paying all this money to daycare, whatever we're gonna have to do. So we tossed around like, maybe you should stay home, maybe this. My Aunt Bay and his Granny Brown were fabulous to us. They kept our kids. So, you know, they helped us alleviate that burden. But anybody that knows law enforcement knows the pay between a sergeant and a lieutenant is probably the biggest raise you'll ever get. It's like $10 an hour. So I said, okay, this is what I got to do. I had 2 babies. I was breastfeeding. I had index cards in the middle, and I was studying for that lieutenant's test. I needed that money. I needed that opportunity. I had to be able to take care of my kids. I was doubling my family, and I needed that money. So I studied, and then the list came out, and I was number 2. I was like, oh, yes, I was so happy. It took about 2 hours that I got to enjoy that. The biggest accomplishment of my career that far. I had worked my butt off studying with babies on each boob. And I only got to celebrate 2 hours because there was a lawsuit filed. 9 officers want to know how I did that. She had to cheat. Surely she cheated. I want to see the scores. There's no way. Black girl number 2. Because see, Louisville's not coming under its first consent decree. It had one because mysteriously all the black people was number 39 on the promotion list. It was a mysterious thing that the DOJ thought, oh, this is not a mystery. We can solve this for you real fast, right? The process is bad. So anyway, I studied. I came out number 2 on August, I think the 7th was supposed to be the promotion. I got my promotion letter. It says August 17th or some day, 2006, show up, get your lieutenant promotion. The next day was a lawsuit and an injunction filed. And of course, when you read the lawsuit, if you go into it, they clean up the language. People do that. They'll make the language clear. They'll make it about some technicality, right? It's never about the real thing. They don't tell you that. So I remember sitting in a courtroom, fighting for my promotion, the FOP and 9 white males over here, and me over here by myself. I had done nothing wrong. So I'll tell you, that brings up one thing you'll see about me. People say, why is she staying with that dude? He's a criminal. Why she do that? I don't pile on people. I have been piled on a million times. If everybody's fighting this person, I'm going to stand over here. It doesn't prevent you from doing your job. Just nobody has a chance to win if they're alone. Right. I don't abandon people when they're alone because I've been there. So that's how I lost my confidence. And I didn't really realize in 2006 that it shook me so bad. I knew it hurt, but I carried that for about 3 years. And I didn't really realize that I had kind of retreated. I was still working hard, but if you think about, you can look at my career from 2006 to 2009, I went dormant. I lost my confidence. They had shook me to the core. They celebrated me, and then they booed me, and I didn't know how to take the boos. I didn't have them before. And so Chief White, I love me some Chief Robert White. He was a gem for this community. And it was funny because he had glasses. I need these glasses, but he had glasses that I don't think he really needed. He did it for impact. So I remember, this is when I realized I had lost my confidence. 3 years had passed. I had got promoted to assistant chief, and I used to run in there looking for stuff I used to run in there asking him to approve stuff all the time. Like, I'm going to make this decision. What you think? I'm going to make that decision. What you think? He did this to me. Yvette Gentry. If I needed to make your decisions, I don't need you. I was like, yes, sir. But I had to get my confidence back. I understood what he was saying. I done promoted you. They done kicked your butt in mine in court over your promotion. I promoted you anyway. Then I promoted you 2 more times. You think I don't have confidence in you? Get out of my office and go do your work. And from then on, so when you see me and you see me as confident, and people don't know how to read me, because she said, I say what I believe, I'm a truth teller, and I look you in the eye and do it, it's because I learned to have confidence because I know when I lost it. I know when I lost it. So I got it back. So Ali doesn't get credit for being the father of self-affirmation like he should, right? We think about his quotes and his mantra, but think about him in his time, right? When people were saying draft dodger and this and that, and he wasn't gonna do this, he was saying, I'm the greatest. Y'all don't know. I'm beautiful, right? I'm beautiful. That's the thing. That's what I have learned, and I hope you all learn it. Like, he took over 200,000 hits. 200,000. People don't talk about the licks you take. It is on record that he took 200,000 punches. And that's just in the ring. It ain't all the people who he thought was going to be with him that wasn't with him when he needed him. That ain't them, right? Because we can never count those. He took 200,000 licks. Think about that. And he still became the greatest humanitarian, the greatest boxer. And the same people who called him a draft dodger, this is the spirituality. It's what God will do. God took a man that they said was not patriotic, and they had to come and get him to go get the American hostages. That's how amazing my God is. So I will just tell you, if you don't believe in them, everybody has their choice. Who believe in what? But just imagine the irony of a young man, faith of Islam. He didn't want to go fight your war because he understood, I don't want to fight people I'm not mad at. And you had to turn back around and call him to go get your American hostages because you couldn't do it. That's God. All right. So I'm trying not to be emotional here. Conviction. I fight for what I believe in. I don't just fight for no reason. I choose peace every day. No, me and Nicole, we talk about every day. We choose peace every day. I wake up, I thank the Lord, and then I choose peace, and then somebody makes me choose violence. And when they do, I'm like, okay. Because the thing about it brings me to the second thing, conviction. You gotta have conviction. You gotta fight for something. Ali didn't get stripped of his title because he lost the fight. He got stripped of his title because he stood for what he believed in. And if that's the way I gotta lose, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. And so it's funny. I have this chair because I have to get 2 new knees. My knees are shot. They're bone on bone. So if I walk, I hurt. So I'm gonna get knee replacement here in a month. And my son Adonis was talking to me. He said, it's funny when people say, your mom's knees are shot because she was an athlete. He said, you ain't ran nowhere at 30 years. And I'm like, nah. But I had to think about cartilage is cushion. I stayed on my knees. I would have killed some folk if I still had cartilage in my knees. I had to give it up, right? I had to think about it was funny because I was thinking in my mind, yeah, I used to be an athlete. I used to run. That's why my knees hurt. And then when Donnie said, I'm like, he ain't wrong. I said, how am I 53 and I got to get 2 new knees? And it's because I stayed on them knees. I did. I prayed because I used to just fight with my hands. And then I realized sometimes you just got to pray for them folks. And get your peace back. Because I don't ever wish bad on people. I don't. That's one thing. I don't set nobody up for failure. I take no joy. You will never find a Facebook post where I share some negative story about somebody. I just don't do that. I don't pile on people. It's so weak to see everybody jumping with somebody and then you go and you kick them at the end. I hate that. That's too easy. Some people say, well, Rondo did this and Rondo did that. Well, if you want to put Rondo in jail, put him in there. If you think he needs to be held accountable, put him in there. I ain't stopping you from doing your job. But when my knees gave out, who's going to send me? This boy's coming to help me. You think I'm going to leave him? Do your job. I ain't stopping you from doing your job. If my son is wrong and I'm standing with him, I'm not trying to stop you from doing your job. My boys ain't going to be alone. I don't leave my boys alone. I believe in accountability. Hold them accountable. But don't kick them. Just don't do that. So I'm going to come to a conclusion real quick because I think I'm going to get a little emotional here. And I'll tell people this. So there are some young people in the room. I see these pretty young girls back here. I see you all. I want y'all to know something. Like I said to Marilyn, go when you celebrate it. People out, there's this big assault on DEI and all of that stuff. But, everybody a couple years ago started putting out DEI statements. So if you look on any website of any company, Humana, you look at all these big corporations, UPS, they all have this thing. They have mission statements and vision statements and equity statements. But I'm going to tell you, there's only really one moral document in this world. And I taught the girls who work under me. And that's the budget. It's only one. I don't care what they say. I don't care what they say. And so I will say this too. I will say this. So I told my niece, if a man got some money and he give it to you, he don't love you. We all spend our money on what's important to us. So it doesn't matter what people profess. If they're not spending the money on it, it's not important. So I remember on a Sunday in October of 2017 when I called Greg Fisher to quit my job on a Sunday when he was trying to go on vacation. He said, "Vic, can we do this another day?" No, sir, we can't. It's 1 year to the day that God healed my body of cancer. So I promised him, if you heal me, everything I do from here is real. I ain't gonna waste nobody's time. And so a lot of times when I quit, people thought I was mad at Greg Fisher. Me and Greg Fisher, I'm a different person than every other person, and you are too. We don't always agree, but he gave me an opportunity. It was so much not about him. It was just me saying, I had been in that office of community building for a few years, and I had been the administrative chief, so I was a budget person. I had to always get the budget going. And I said to myself, and y'all watch these budget hearings, watch them. I'll record them and watch them, because one person you won't see begging for money is the people who take care of dogs. It's an amazing thing. So I remember doing my budget, and I had for safe and healthy neighborhoods that year $224,000. It started with zero. We got $224,000. Woohoo! Then they said, well, we're gonna raise it to 400. So the mayor was doubling it, which is, hey, you go from most time you get your thing double. So we get the Metro Council. Rashad had to go over there 5 times. I had to go over there 3 times. They dragging us through the mud. And then I looked over there at Ozzy, and I'm like, I don't know if it was Ozzy at the time. I think, yeah, he had dogs. I said, what, right? Yeah, Kelly knows. Kelly was there when this fight happened. So he had $4.6 million. I said, y'all mean to tell me y'all done brought me over here and kicked my butt for $400,000 and y'all spending $4 million to save dogs? I love dogs, but damn. What am I doing? What am I doing? You already told me what's important. You will never see animal control over there at Metro Council begging for money. You won't see it. It doesn't happen. It's a no-brainer. But yet you'll see Office of Safe and Healthy Neighborhoods, Office of Youth Development getting ripped to shreds. Don't vote. Y'all better get some people. Y'all better get some people. Anyway, y'all better quit messing with these folks. Y'all better quit messing with these folks. So, I'm going to end with this. And I still get in trouble. My new boss, Bill, is here. And Bill didn't know me from nobody until about, bless his heart. He got the best heart. And I've been in trouble a few times at LDG. I get in trouble for intimidating people. I know they come and bug you, Bill. And hurting people's feelings. Aw. But I will just say this. Stop feeling and do your job. Because I only fight the good fight, right? I fight when I see people who are not getting asked the same questions. If I feel like they're not getting the same treatment, I'm gonna raise the question. If that intimidates you, then I didn't do anything. I just asked the question. I just did, right? I just asked the question. So I'll just say there's, I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but thank God I'm still his. I tell Lisa all the time, she said, who you bringing to the derby? I'm like, my favorite toy. Okay, so the last thing is, you see the headlines and all this stuff, and I'm just going to wrap it up with this. You think about headlines a lot, and they just tell a little snippet, right? Most news stories, 2 minutes. Most clippings, it's just a headline. So you think you can glean a lot from that. So I've been in headlines a lot. But the last thing that really bothered me was that I had 2 headlines for a $300,000 investment deal. Now, when have y'all ever seen a headline of a $300,000 investment deal? It doesn't. It's another one of those things like seeing people at Animal Control ask for money. It's one of those things that you'll never ever see for real. And so the last headline they had about me was, former chief won't benefit. Because see, sometimes in this world, they'll tell you when you've hit that glass ceiling. I've experienced it a few times. They loved me as an officer. They didn't want me a lieutenant. When they was worried about the city getting burnt down, they called me back because they wanted me to come back and sit in that seat at great sacrifice of my own and my family's. A great sacrifice. And then 2 years later, they stood here and act like I didn't even exist. We're a new black chief, which I'm so glad you're here. And it's nothing, taking nothing from you, because you are, girl, I know, right? But let me just tell you all, they will give you a title and take it. So just know your assignment. Just know your assignment. Because they will give it to you and they'll take it. And they just kick you all the time. I'm like, why y'all bothering me? I'm minding my own business, but people was coming up on me with guns. I worked 109 days straight. I did hard shit. And you just gonna stand here and not? I was sitting there. I was like, wow. This is what they do to you. Oh, girl. So, I would just say this. No matter the title, know your assignment. No matter the pay, know your value. And to, what's his name that writes those Louisville public meeting stories about me? Stop. Yeah, I'm going to tell him this. I'm not a sharecropper, sir. I'm not a sharecropper. My great-grandparents was. My mother worked 2 jobs my whole life. She was a shareholder. I can be a proprietor. I get to benefit from my work. I put my life on the line for strangers. I can stand with my son. I get to benefit. I get to eat good. My son's in college and Miles wants a 4.0 and the teacher keeps giving him 70s on his paper. I said, I had a sip on what I really said. But I said, go ask her for a meeting and just tell her, I want a 4.0. What's it gonna take to get that? Because she see your little dreadhead black boy in Memphis, Tennessee, and she don't know what you want. She think you okay with a 74. Just tell her you're not. So I said, and I don't care what she gets you. I said, baby, if you get a 3.5, you can't control that, but you can control it. Go tell her that you expect a 4.0 and to show you the path to get there. And walk out and knock over some shit. This is my last thing. We just talked about the greatest tragedy this week. We talked about the bank shooting, and people think about that as the greatest tragedy, and it was terrible. But when you leave here, if you don't remember anything I said, I want you to remember what truly is the greatest tragedy that this city has ever seen, and we haven't done anything about it. But at least you need to know what it is. In 2004, my Tyson Gibbs, my baby, I had a work baby. Adonis used to follow me around the house when I was working, talking. That boy could talk, ask 1,500 questions. Then when I went to work, it was a little boy who lived in Southwick who did the same thing when I was working. What you doing? What you locking him up for? I was like, Tyson, baby, you can't follow me. Like, people might hurt you. No. He had snacks in my office. He had a smile that would light up the room. And I'm sitting here. This is another headline. This is how headlines just don't get the story. So I'm sitting in my office. We always get a recap of the crime that happened the day before. So I'm sitting in my office, and I see a little snippet of a homicide. It said Tyson Gibbs, drug related. And so I was like, I gotta make sure it's him. So I went downstairs and I looked at the crime scene photos and I saw my baby, blood coming out of her eye. I've seen some stuff you can't unsee. So this is my why. This is the violence prevention stuff. We should not be fighting to keep programs and all of that stuff. But as much as this is a tragedy, I'm gonna tell you what's even worse. 2004, my Tyson gets killed. He has a little baby girl. I think Tyson might have been 2. His son might have been 4 when he was killed. So the top line right there, you saw Tyson, he died 2004. The top one was witness say girl shot after argument at party. His 15-year-old daughter was murdered in 2012. Walking home, minding her own business, and 2 men got to shooting and they shot her in the back and left her in the alley till she bled to death. Tyson Spearman. And then, you know, this is the gift to keep on giving, right? Tyson Gibbs Jr. Look at that headline. Slain Wagner Sr. Tyson Gibbs dreamed of escaping violence and never made it. His son, Wagner High School football star. He told his teacher and his counselor, this is in the article, I ain't making it up. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, here it is, the first paragraph. Tyson, a 19-year-old Louisville man slain in the Shawnee neighborhood last Sunday night, had confided to his coach and his counselor at Wagner that he hoped he could leave Louisville and start anew. But the headline, the dream of escaping violence, he never made it. So if somebody told you they could save 3 lives by doing something, people won't want to fund it. They don't want to fund that. But 3 lives, 3 complete generations wiped out. Daddy's dead, daughter's dead, only son is dead. That's 3 generations. He asked for help. So all I'm saying is don't be afraid to fight. If you got a voice and you got a job and you can move the money and move the people and do all that, don't be afraid to fight. If you're afraid to fight, get out the job. Give it to somebody who's willing to fight. These kids are asking for help and they're not getting it. If Tyson was alive, he would have been able to protect his children. It's easy to say it's drug. That's why people say, why are you with these people that do this? Just like Ali, I'm not going to fight people I'm not mad at. I will arrest them if I think they need to be arrested, but I will stand with them if I think they're being wrong. I'm just going to do that. Do something. This violence prevention is everybody's. This whole family was wiped out. He asked for help and nobody did anything but quoted in a newspaper. So all I'm saying is, that's enough. Thank you all. Thank you all for having me. Thank you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you.
We're going to open the floor for questions and answers. If I got any questions, feel free to raise your hand. Bridget and myself are going to come right around with the mics. Not all at once.
That's a good thing. They know me too. Good. No questions. I like it. Oh.
Thank you for being here. Sorry. And thank you for all that you've done for our community.
Thank you, darling.
We're grateful. So if we're interested in violence prevention and work, but we don't know how to get started, how do we get started?
Well, I'll tell you this. When I was saying watch the budget, I meant that. So maybe everybody's not built for the same fight, right? We need people fighting. I've integrated a lot of boards. I've integrated stuff, been the first one. And I tell people, get on where you at. If you're already in the C-suite, fight it there. If you're trying to get there, everybody can't go to the street to fight it. But see what your company is willing to do for it. It's going to take a whole lot of people, right? So whatever, use your voice. You are beautiful. You are palatable to people. You're probably kind. You're going to be in places where I'm not. Fight for for me, please. That's what I love about Teresa Reno Weber. People didn't know that. People's like, oh, they had an opinion. You know, they got an opinion about everybody. And I went to work for Teresa when I left. And I'll tell you something. I said, I watched Teresa. I didn't know her until we worked together. I watched her fight when I couldn't. I respect the heck out of her for that. I was like, dang, I ain't even got to fight. Teresa's on it, you know. She fights the good fight. Love you, girl. They beat you up too. That's all right. You can get new knees. They only cost $1,100. No other questions?
No, that was the question I was going to ask.
Okay. Thank you. And like I said, give to the Ali Center. Give to him.
These are my good people right here. Hold on.
Hey, Alia. So I want to find. So we live in California. So this is our first time in Louisville. We've been in Kentucky, period. So I wanted to find out how, because we have a lot of these. Well, we're swamped with these issues. How do we collab with someone like you? Because you're absolutely amazing. You are a gift to the world.
I think that's a big gap, working together. I work in LDG development right down here on 3rd Street, across from the water big company. So you don't have to go pay your water bill, just come over there and see. Or I'll give you my number after. Because I mean, like I said, I've had different titles, but this is what I do. So yeah, anybody want to sit down and talk about how to save these boys? I went to 600 homicides, baby. I've seen too much. I can't stop working.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Hi, I don't have a question. I just want to say you should write a book.
I have, but I had to redact so many names. I write. It's therapeutic for me to write. I just write. So I have probably 2,000 pages, and people keep saying like you should write. And so I have written, but I keep doing. Yeah. We talked about that. Lord. Because I did write a book called Death by Politics.
Oh.
Cause of death, politics. Because that's what kills people.
Yeah.
It really ain't the bullet.
Right.
All right. Is that it?
Am I allowed
If you
to
have a
say-
question, ma'am.
Well, first of all, my mother has 8 children. All 6, the first 6 have middle names. Me and my twin sister do not. But Yvette Gentry has given me Nicole Renee. So she calls me every day.
Who knows a black girl without a middle name? Has anybody ever met that? It just didn't feel right. She's like, I don't have a middle name. I'm like, what?
I do not. So every day she calls me Nicole Renee. But there's a lot of people at this table. I want to tell you a funny story about Yvette. And so first of all, she is a great friend. So we have been using 4-letter words here today, so I think it's okay. But like, I have been in some shit, and I have called Yvette and been fired up, mad, and when she talks about this choosing violence, and she's talked me off the ledge and all these things. But early on, when she came to work in the mayor's office, our parking spaces are next to each other. Do you remember this story?
You want me to tell the story?
No, I'm going to tell it.
Because you ain't going to tell it right. You ain't going to tell it right.
I get to tell it. I have the microphone.
Okay.
And so, Yvette came to the office, and so Sadiqa and I will say, me and Sadiqa parked next to each other. We didn't have any problems. She knew her spot. I knew mine. She comes in every day, and she's parking in my spot, which then allows somebody. So I was like, I would go to her office. Hi, Pat. You're in my spot. And so every day, no, I'm not in yours. She would yell at me. I'd go back over to my office. And then one day I came in and I said, Yvette, hi, good morning. You're in my spot. You know what, Nicole? We gotta go down here right now and figure out these spots. And so she was in my spot, right? But somebody was in her spot. And so this happened like her very first day. We quickly became friends because she knows, I loved her, but she was in my spot. And she talked about all the things that she does that are public, and she never mentioned all the things she does privately, but she she gives the best gifts. Oh my God. She got me this outfit for Christmas that I cannot wait to wear on vacation, but she is just kind, and she is thoughtful. She also, lots of folks call me Olivia Pope, but she is also very just strategic, and so most of the time when I was talking to Tracy Davis the other day, and because Tracy knows I'll spin the block and flip a table, and Tracy be trying to tell people, I told you it was Nicole, it's not me. But Yvette has been that person, and so while she's all these things publicly, to privately know her, and she was the first call that I made a year ago on April 10th, and I was crying. She goes, and the governor said this too, she said, I've never seen you not composed. Are you okay? And so after she knew what happened, she came downtown to meet me and be with me. But I think that as Black women and professionally, it is always good to have a squad. And YG which is what I call her, has been a rock for me. She has been a very good friend. She knows my family craziness, all the things, and she is not judgmental about those things. So when you see her on the street, and if she has chosen violence or she's being a truth teller on that day, she really does do it with love, and she means no harm. And one of her things that I thought she was going to say today was that do no harm. So even in times when I'm like, I'm gonna, and she was like, Nicole Renee, we do no harm. And I really want you to know that about her. And so because she's tough, she doesn't want anybody to know she's sweet, but she really is a sweet person. And I love you, and I can't thank you enough for your friendship and everything you've done for me.
Thank you. I'm a strategic person, so it was 7 spots and 7 cars. I'm like, I ain't moving my damn car. but I do. I love her. No, you don't get to speak. It's over with. No. This is my daughter of greatness.
The Omni Center said that your friends could say things.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Well, you're not my friend, girl. What you got? But what you gonna say? You gonna say some stuff.
No. Go ahead.
You gonna choose violence.
You talked a little bit about workplace culture, and I've had the opportunity to spend quite a few years working with you. And I remember one conversation you and I had a long time ago, and when you were at MEW. It's sometimes when you close to somebody that work for you, sometimes you gotta have tough conversations, right? And I told Yvette one day, Yvette, you pissing everybody off. You can't keep bringing that police shit up in here. She was like, okay, fine, thank you. And I happened to leave. And I come back and all the furniture in my office was turned over. And I remember the team was so what happened? I said, I know what happened. So talk a little bit about workplace culture.
Jesus flipped tables, man. I just wanted to check your spirituality. It was funny, Daryl was my boss, and Daryl was the king of work avoidance. They would put out an email and say, we having a truck come tomorrow, 2 truckloads, Commander would send out, we having 2 truckloads, you know how y'all do it, Metro 9 of stuff. We put together laundry fridge. We got 2 loads of stuff. Daryl dresses. He had all these t-shirts and hoodies and all this stuff. But every time the truck came, y'all know, look at the Metro 9 away, they're like, every time the truck came, he was suited and booted. And I was like, they was all buying into it. They was like, he has a meeting. I said, he's a lie. This is work avoidance. That was his way of avoiding unloading the truck, right? If he said, I got this suit on, I can't unavoid. I said, I ain't going for it. I know you the boss, but you need to take that suit off. we out here unloading boxes, so.
My question is easy. It's easy.
I just want to know, other than my daughters, have you ever picked other people's kids up from school and taught them, gave them mace, or taught them sense, or talked to them about sex, or cussed them out if they needed to?
I'm the good auntie.
or
No,
just
yeah,
randomly picking up people's kids?
I do. Right, so Sadiqa lives downtown and her daughters went to Brown and they walked underneath the viaduct. Everybody know where you live, girl, please. It's on the back of the bathroom. And her daughters had to walk to Brown School underneath the viaduct. And there was a lot of men there and they were doing whatever. And so everybody was having a conversation. I'm like, oh, no, I'm picking them up. I gave them mace. I showed them, I wanted to give them some knives and stuff, but I think you can't take knives to school. No knives, but you can take them. Okay. So I was like, look, I had to give them the tools. People talk to them, so I took them and I said, they come up to you, you spray them. They don't back up, you stab them. And then when you get your license, you run them over. No, no, but you gotta I support people where they are. I don't like little girls being scared. I don't like that. Christy works with me now, and y'all know Christy. Christy is the great organizer of people, and her daughter was having some problems with the girl. I'm like, fight them. Choose violence. Thank you all.
I'm just gonna last one. We've known each other a long time. And I left Louisville and went to law school and came back. And when I came back, I was public defender. Do you remember this? And she was in court. I was in court. And she was like, what the hell are you doing here? You ain't supposed to be here doing this. You're not very like this. And I was like, you're right. But we touched base later, and I just want to say, through the hardest times, you have been there. I had breast cancer right after that, and the fact that you worked through your treatments, I kept saying to myself every day, if Dad can do this, I can do this. And you were my inspiration.
Thank you.
Right after my treatments ended, you were there with me at the J-Town Police Department. And my work family, everybody was there. And I just want to say I never forget those things. Because when hard shit happens, you know who's with you. Even though we might not talk every day, even though we see each other, I have the highest respect for you. You are always in my heart, because like I said, in the hardest times, you don't know who's going to be there, but she's always there.
I think Kara Lawson said it. Y'all know the Duke coach? She said, if you're waiting on life to get easier, it's not going to get easier. You just got to learn to do hard better. We all got to learn to do hard better. Ain't nothing getting easier out here. Everything's hard. Everybody's struggling. Even the people that got money struggling with something else. The people who don't have that struggle, everybody's struggling. It ain't going to get any easier. Just do hard better. That's it. Thank you.
Join us up here on the stage.
That's Sadiqa trying to be the boss.
I was trying to tell you, I wanted them to be able to do that thing without.
We're good. We'll move over there. We got room. Please.